Ah man, how to do this while spoiling as little as possible. Well, think about this. Have you ever wanted to watch a show with time travel, mystery, gratuitous violence, budding romance, and of course, waifus? Well then you could watch ReZero, I guess, or Steins Gate. Or, I mean, even Avengers Endgame, to be honest. Or you could watch Summertime Render. Clearly, it isn't a premise that hasn't been done before, but hey, all of those are good shows, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But chances are you probably aren't even aware that this anime exists, or the fact that it was one of the best shows of last year. And I say one of, because it's hard to beat Bocchi the Rock. Summertime Render has been stuck in Disney Plus jail, and only now does it have reliable streaming options outside of, well, you know. So even though the first season has been wrapped for a while, now is a good time to get into the show. That's right, it's time to turn off Demon Slayer and Vinland Saga to watch a real Japanese cartoon instead. I mean, look at her. Don't you want to watch the show just for this? Basic ass Demon Slayer could never do this. Oh. Okay, but what's the quick premise of the show without spoiling anything crazy? Because honestly, you should just go in blind without knowing anything, but I know how y'all little Gen Z kids are these days. Don't want to commit your time to anything without knowing if it'll be worth it. I mean, I get it. The time you spend watching a 25 episode anime season is time that could be spent listening to a dating podcast. So I'll give you the details on Summertime Render without spoiling anything beyond the first episode. The show follows Shinpei as he returns to his island hometown for the funeral of his adopted sister Ushio, who died trying to save a little girl from drowning. There he meets up with his other adopted sister Mio, and some of his other childhood friends such as So and Tokiko. And then this scene happens, which will already sell some of you on the show, and believe it or not, it's plot relevant, so take it all in. But then we get to Ushio's funeral, where it's revealed that there may have been some foul play around her death. Thus, Shinpei and the gang are drawn into this web of intrigue as they try to discover the truth behind Ushio's death, as well as rumors of shadow beings that lurk the island. Shinpei and Mio ready their resolve as they decide that nothing can keep them from avenging their sister. Oh, they're both dead. But wait, is that the ReZero sound effect I hear? Turns out Shinpei can get his own redo after dying as he's transported back to when he first arrives on the island. And from there on, it just gets wilder and wilder. So that's the premise, right? And that's all nice and everything, but what really makes this anime worth watching? Why did I decide to sit down and specifically make a video to sell this show to you? Well, to be honest, you're actually probably too late. One of the best parts of watching a show like this, or ReZero, or any show with an overarching mystery with twists and turns, is endlessly theorizing and making predictions on the internet week after week. But if you're watching this video, chances are you missed the show as it was airing, so you're kinda out of luck. So instead, I could sell you on the qualities that Summertime Render has that every good show should have, at least in my opinion. And that's characters, story, and a vision. Summertime Render has a great cast of characters who all feel real. No one is an annoying embarrassment, no one really feels wasted, and at least as far as the main cast goes, everyone has clear and believable motivations. And of course, Summertime Render has a great story. It's almost the whole point of the show. Sure, you won't be able to speculate and theorize week to week, but you will get the benefit of binging at your own leisure, so you don't have to agonizingly wait to find out if Shinpei. But most importantly of all, Summertime Render has a vision. And what I mean by that is that there's a clear intent by the creators to make something. It's not random, make it up as we go along. It's not, let's start the story one way and then pivot into a completely different genre. There is a clear intent, and that intent is to create a compelling action mystery. There is setup and there is payoff, and you will be rewarded for paying attention and not watching the show in the background while you do laundry. You will be rewarded for caring about the characters and being invested in their journeys, because it all leads somewhere. And yeah, you could debate on whether or not that somewhere is satisfying. And sure, there are some loose ends here and there, but hey, that's a topic for a different video. Summertime Render is truly, and if you watch this channel, you know I hate using this phrase, but it's underrated. Or well, maybe the better phrase is slept on. Because if this show had a proper Western release, I guarantee that it would have as much buzz and discussion around it as something like, well, ReZero. But if you think I'm just sitting here telling you to watch a show just because it was slept on, has an actual conclusion, and meets the basic criteria for good writing, you're wrong. I'm telling you that you should go watch Summertime Render because this scene happens within the first minute. So yeah, 10 out of 10 peak fiction or whatever they say. Go watch it if you want, I guess.